Hi, my name is Colette Kerr. I am a solicitor and I work for Oracle Law based in Clarkston in the south side of Glasgow. Generally, I get up around 6:15 every workday morning. I go downstairs, I have my breakfast, which usually consists of porridge, because I enjoy porridge, and I will watch some inane programme on the television for 10-15 minutes while I'm having my porridge, and then I have a shower and then I get dressed, and at that point I usually wake up my two children. I have two children, a boy who is aged 15 and a girl who is aged 13, and when they're at school I encourage them to get ready for school and out the door in time. And I usually walk to school with my daughter because we have a dog called Rosie. Rosie is a cockapoo. She's a small black cockapoo, and I take her down to school with my daughter, and then I come back and I try to be at work for around 8:30 every morning. I don't work too far from home. I should walk, but I tend not to. I tend to go by car, and it takes about 5 minutes to get to the office. So I arrive before 9 o'clock and I check emails that have come in the night before. Sometimes there are quite a lot of emails that come in late the night before or during the night from clients, and then I deal with those. I also open the mail in the morning, and I then start the working day. Normally it's a busy day, it's a busy office. I receive a lot of calls from clients, I receive a lot of emails from clients, and I try to get through these as best I can in a working day. I tend to specialise in family issues, so that involves divorce, separation, custody disputes and the like. And I will also see clients during the day who are looking for advice about their separation, divorce, or issues surrounding their children. I also draft documents for court and emails and send them to court, to clients and to other solicitors. There is no typical day, but it's a busy day, and I do have a break for lunch, usually between 12 and 12:30. Lunch consists normally of soup and a roll or a bit of bread, and I tend to eat my lunch at my desk. I don't go out at lunch generally, and I take about 10 to 15 minutes for lunch. And then I work throughout the afternoon, and I try to leave about 5:30, because I have two children who are usually hungry by that time and wanting to know what's for dinner. So I leave work, go to the supermarket, go home, make their dinner almost as soon as I get in, because as I say, they're very hungry. And I make their dinner, and they usually are fed first, and then I take the dog out for another walk, deal with washing that needs done, tidy up the house, general housework basically, and then my husband and I then have our dinner. And then I sometimes watch maybe an hour of television, but I don't tend to watch much television at night. By the time I usually sit down at night, it's 10 o'clock, and I usually watch the 10 o'clock news, and that's from 10 to 10:30 or thereabouts. And by that time I'm usually really tired, and I tend to go to bed between 10:30 and 11 o'clock every night. And then I usually go to sleep quite quickly because I'm tired from the working day, and I sleep right through until the next morning when I start the day again.
Esther Rogan, take one. My name's John, I'm 40-year-old. I'm from Glasgow, born and bred, 1978. I moved out of Glasgow 2010 with my daughter and my partner. Stuff happened, I ended up being seriously attacked and nearly murdered in front of my daughter, who was 3 at the time. Now she's 6, and last year I became homeless in the summer holidays, school summer holidays. I became homeless. My wee daughter, who's in primary 2 now, had to go with my wee brother. She didn't meet it. I voluntarily gave that stuff up for her, and I've been doing this shit for nearly a year now, and see, if it wasn't for Glasgow people, I'd probably be skinnier than I'm at. because he's feed me well, he's give me well, but in that during the day, I wake up in the morning and I walk the Green Mile. The Green Mile is going for your methadone. I'm an ex-addict who says that we drink now and again, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about my daily stuff, right? So I had my methadone in the morning. I came in here, I did a bit of ham and egging. Do I feed myself during the day? I've got to feed myself. I've got to have stuff because I might be homeless, but I still like to keep myself presentable. So I don't like to be a smelly tramp chewing the concrete, because there's different kinds of homeless in my eyes. And then this is me until later on. Certain days I see my daughter, certain days I don't, so my days vary. Like Monday's the day. Monday I don't see my daughter because she's in Butlins, lucky her. So the day, this is me, this is my day, Circuit Hall Street, all day long. And that's literally it.
My name's Mark Griffin. I'm a Labour member of the Scottish Parliament for the Central Scotland region. A normal day for me is getting up about 6 in the morning, getting up, going for a shower, getting dressed, getting ready for the day ahead, and then leaving the house at about 7:15 in the morning, heading down to the train station and getting the train through to Edinburgh, where I'm working. I'll go off the train and take a walk down from the train station to the Scottish Parliament, and that's where I start my working day. Normally I'll start first thing in the morning at 9 o'clock in the morning at my committee. I'm a member of the Social Security Committee in the Scottish Parliament, and we'll talk about the different powers that are coming to the Scottish Parliament, about things like poverty and other things in the committee. We'll have members of the public, we'll have organisations, we'll have maybe a government minister in to give us evidence and ask them questions, and that's normally takes up most of my morning doing that. Then we would go into the debating chamber at about 11:40. There's a question session which are general questions where any MSP can go in and ask whatever question they want of whatever government minister that question comes under, whatever their responsibility is. And that takes me up to 12 o'clock when First Minister's questions take place. That's when all the party leaders all get a chance to ask the First Minister about different areas where they feel that improvement needs to be made or changes need to happen, and it's mostly the big issues of the day, whatever's been in the news that week. Generally the party leaders will ask the First Minister questions about that. I had a question just about social security again, where I asked the First Minister a question, so all the party leaders get to go first, and then backbenchers get the chance to ask questions about their own local area or their own interest, and the First Minister answers those. After First Minister's questions, we all tend to wander out the chamber, and there's kind of famous steps in the Scottish Parliament where there's normally a pressure group or a lobby group waiting at the bottom of those stairs to catch all the MSPs as they come out the chamber, and we get a photo almost every time we come out after First Minister's questions about a different campaign, a different organisations, and the steps that we come out of seem to be these famous steps because that's where everybody gets these group photos. We normally would come down the steps and all the MSPs head into the canteen, go for a bit of lunch and sit down and have a talk about First Minister's questions, about who did well, who did not so well, whether the government got a hard time or not, and sit and have a bit of chat about what's going on through the week over lunch. And then I would go back up to my office in the Parliament, and depending on how busy I was in that particular day, I might have different organisations or members of the public or constituents into my office to talk to me about something they wanted to raise or they wanted a bit of help with. and sometimes in the afternoon we would be in the chamber for debates, and you'd be making speeches over the course of the afternoon, but it just depends what topic it is. Sometimes it's something you're really interested in, you want to speak on. Sometimes it's not really anything that's related to you and your region, so you just balance what you want to do in that particular day, whether you spend it in the debating chamber speaking, or whether you spend it in the office having meetings with different people. Every single day when I'm there, the bell goes at 10 to 5, and all the MSPs go into the debating chamber again to vote, and the vote happens at 5 o'clock. So the bell goes at 10 to 5 and we all go in and we vote on whatever we've been debating over the course of the day at 5 o'clock. And then after the vote's done, everyone goes home. The Parliament was supposed to be a family-friendly Parliament, so it was supposed to kind of mirror working hours so that people with family or caring responsibilities could be members of the Scottish Parliament and be able to treat it like almost like a normal job and get home at a reasonable time. So we would leave after the vote at 5 o'clock, with the same walk from the Parliament up to the train station, and then get the train back through to Cumbernauld, and then take a quick journey from the station and get home round about 6:30. Normally when I come home, because I've been up and out the house so early, then it's my job to get the kids fed, get the kids bathed, and have a bit of a play with them, since I've not seen them all day, and just have a bit of fun with them and get things done with them, do my share really. The kids normally go down to sleep about 8 o'clock, and my wife and I would get a bit of time to catch up about what we've been doing during the day, what we've done during the week, and maybe watch a bit of TV, watch some TV. Generally we watch up till about the 10 o'clock news, watch the news, and then both of us just drop off about 10:30 after the news is finished.
Hi, I'm Zara and my age is 8, and I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then after that I come down from my bunk beds and I go in the hall. My mum's got my clothes all set up for me, and then after I've got my clothes on, sometimes it's PE, and after I get my clothes on, I go down the stairs and I put the kettle on and I set the table. Then my mum goes down the stairs and make the breakfast. I have shredded wheat sometimes, and then on Wednesdays my granddad takes me to school, and then we have a 5-minute playtime at school before we go in, and then we line up in my line, and I'm in room 6, and then me and my friend Layla, we partners, and then we go into the school. We chat for a little while until the teacher comes in, and we unpack our bags, and then after that on Mondays it's assembly, so we go to assembly. Then after assembly we have our snack time, and our snack time, sometimes like me and my friends sometimes trade a bit of snacks, and then we after that we have a little play, and then it's the playtime's over, and then we go round the school and line up again, and then we go in, and then after that it's math time, and we do like division, times tables, upstairs, downstairs, add and take away. Then after that, after we finish our maths, sometimes we do an R&R for our maths, and then after that we get to do the math box, or some speedy times tables, or just the star stuff that we have at school. Then after that at school it's lunchtime, and then we have blue, red, green and yellow tray, and the red and yellow tray is basically just the red and yellow are basically the same, only the yellow is vegetarian. And then we have our lunchtime and then we have our lunchtime break, and sometimes me and my friends save our snacks, but my friends always pack lunch, so sometimes we save. Layla, my friend, saves her snacks because like she has stuff in her pack lunch, but then sometimes I just eat all my snack. And then at lunchtime we have a little play, then lunchtime breaks over, and after that we like sometimes then after that it's like language kind of, and then like sometimes we do a topic in the afternoon too. Then after that, like that's like school over, and then on Wednesdays I'll go to drama, and at drama like we go into the little hall and do a warm up, and then after the warm up the big ones as me go into the big hall, and then we like sing, and then little ones go away and we're in the hall, and then we're singing and dancing, and like sometimes like this girl comes in and like shows us the moves for our show, What's Cinderella. Then we get a break for drama, and we have the chop, and if it's a really really sunny day, we get to go outside, because it's like the school is a drama, and like the school's a drama, and then we go out to play in the playground, but we're basically not allowed on any like the school stuff. And then after that I go to bed at 8:30 after drama, and well, like that's my day done.
Hi, my name's Steve. I'm 27 years old. My routine starts around 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when my little one wakes me up for a feed. As soon as we've had a feed, he will go back to sleep again. We will wake up again around 6 or 8 o'clock in the morning. As soon as we wake up, I would take him downstairs, and I would let my dogs out as well. And I have to hoover as soon as I wake up. It's just because I've got dogs and I don't like the hair falling around in the house. And I would get washed and make breakfast around that time as well. And by the time my elder and my husband wakes up, the breakfast will be ready, and we usually just have porridge for the breakfast, or stuffed paranthas. I don't know if you know what they are, but it's an Indian dish. Usually my husband will take my oldest son to the nursery, depending on his shifts. If not, then I would take him with me with the little one. Once my son is at nursery, it gives me a couple of hours to do things around the house. I would then try to make lunch and dinner for later on for us. And then when I would go pick my son up from the nursery, usually if he's not at the nursery, we would try to squeeze in trip to the soft play, or we try go to swimming once a week as well. Once we come back, we usually have our meals around 3 o'clock. So it's a late lunch, or early dinner, whatever you want to call it. So we have that at that time, because that's when he comes back from the nursery. Now, depending how he's feeling, we will play either in the house or outside in the garden. We would also like to, just depends on the weather, we will take the dogs out with us on a walk sometimes. Once we're back, I would try to we will try to sneak in another meal after that, depending if the kids are hungry or not. And I try my very best to put them to bed around 8 o'clock. Any earlier doesn't suit us, so I try to put them to bed around 8. And once they're sleeping, I will try to get my cleaning done for the next day. So I would do the hoover, I would do the steam mop, and I will catch up on my favourite programmes. The new one these days is Love Island, so I like watching that. So my husband finishes at 11:30, and he comes home around midday or something, and when he comes back, we will just chat for a while and then go to bed just after the midnight.
My name is Chris Davis. I am 31 years old, and I'm a primary school teacher. My day begins the same way almost every day. I wake up at pretty much 7:10 on the dot, and from then I come downstairs. I'll have my breakfast, and my breakfast is always the same. I'll always have a bowl of bran flakes with some raisins and some kind of nuts inside, in a sort of attempt to be healthy, because other aspects of my day are not so healthy. After I've had my breakfast, I'll quickly dash back upstairs, wash, brush my teeth, get dressed, and I'm out of the door by about 10 to 8. From there, it's a 10-minute drive to work at the primary school where I work. I'll get there about 8 o'clock, and I'm normally the only person in the building, one or two other figures ghosting around at that point. And I'll go to my classroom, and I'll spend a lot of time pacing up and down, very nervously, for the 24, 25 children, depending on who's off sick, that will come into my class that day. And once I'm all ready and prepared, the bell will ring at 9 o'clock, and in they will pour. After we register, about 9:15, then we're looking at some literacy, some reading, working with books, text, poems, plays, things like that. I've got 2 groups in my class. One group are reading a novel called The Thief Lord, which is massive and incredibly challenging. The other group are reading a book called Jammy Dodgers on the Run, set in Victorian London. Less challenging, but more enjoyable, I've noticed. And after I've sort of calmed them all down and done lots of shouting, we can commence work. And once the work is done, we'll have a break about 10:30. I'll spend my playtime alone, normally, in the class, again, nervously pacing up and down, looking at some jotters, staring out the window into the playground, watching the children batter lumps out of one another or play merrily, depending on how the mood takes them. And then 10:45, playtime is over and it's into maths, which is a bit more intense because I have a smaller group of children, but they are much more unruly, they're more animated, it's more chaotic, and that's good and bad. We work on a programme called Big Maths, which is a nightmare because it's brand new and I don't really know how to use it. And we do lots of counting, we do loads of times tables, all the sort of stuff that most people would remember from their days at school. But it's so electronic, everything's on smart boards now, and it's iPads, and it's children timing themselves to see how many questions they can answer in 30 seconds. It's intense and it's demanding. And after maths, about 12:15, that's lunchtime. And lunchtime, I will habitually have the same lunch every day. I will have a sandwich on brown bread with cheese, tomato and reggae sauce. After that, I will also always have Monster Munch flaming hot flavour and a Kit Kat Chunky, which I kind of have to have, or I get a bit like a guy who's not had a coffee in a few hours, who loves coffee. 1 o'clock, the children are back in and madness commences yet again. It's topic work, it's artwork, it's music work. To give an example, we're working on something like the Romans, let's say, and we'll spend a lot of time speaking about the Romans and engaging with what we've learned the day before, what we want to learn today, and more importantly, is there anything we've not learned yet that we wanted to learn? So maybe a kid puts up their hand and says, oh, the Colosseum. And okay, we're going to talk about gladiators. I normally have that pre-planned. I'm normally guiding them into that, but sometimes they can throw a curveball, as it were. And yeah, you can go to some unusual and interesting places. I spent about an hour once talking about the whole of Gladiator to them, which was pretty much a waste of time, but we had fun. After that, 3 o'clock, home time comes, and I'll stay and work till about 4:30, 5:30, something like that. Then it's the shops, Tesco. I'll buy a beer, I'll buy my dinner, and then I'll make sure I get home pretty sharp. I will have a cup of tea, normally Earl Grey. I will then maybe have my beer before dinner to kind of whet my appetite. I'll spend some time in the evening writing. I like to work on novels that I pour a lot of myself into. They're all of quite poor quality, I can assure you. And then after that, it's dinner time, where my lovely wife will prepare a meal for me. Not because I'm sexist, but because she tends to spend more time at home, working from home. So she has that little bit of time to prepare. And then it's winding down for the night. I'll maybe watch television, I'll maybe play the PlayStation, something like that. Bedtime, 10:30, 9:30, and then I'll read. I'll read scary stories, I'll read horror novels, something to just kind of take the edge off and kind of explore something different that I haven't been able to explore during the day because I'm spending my day so kind of straight-laced, behaving myself for the children. And then normally it's lights out, conked out, about 11:30, 12:30 if I'm lucky. Next day wake up, do the whole thing again.
Hi there, my name's Peter McCafferty. I'm 63 years of age and I've been medically retired for the last 7 years through a kidney failure and a cancer, which is the main cause of my illnesses. My main day would be to rise up about 8 o'clock in the morning get washed, get dressed, come down the stair, take my tablets that I take with my tea or coffee, or sometimes I maybe have a breakfast, which could be cereal or toast. I'll sit and read my book, which is Wilbur Smith at the moment, but I read other books like Lee Child, or biographies, which is sit there as well. I like reading, so I put the radio on just as a background music, read my books to about 10 o'clock. Now I'm on peritoneal dialysis, which is it flushes out the kidneys. My kidneys failed, and this helps flush out the kidneys, which is a long process, which is necessary for me. I do that about 4 times a day. My first exchange would be before about 10 o'clock in the morning, which means you've got to prepare your surfaces, make sure your hands are clean, and make sure everything's all set. So it's a routine that goes through every single day, which is 4 times a day. Once that's finished, we maybe have to go and get the grandkids. We'll take them down to the park, we could play out the back with them, or if the weather's no too clever, they'll play in here with their wee games. And the youngest just uses me as a climbing frame, so she'll do that. They'll have their lunch. We'll make their lunch about 12 or 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock I'll do my second day exchange of the day, while the kids are out playing or elsewhere. They don't usually do it when I'm doing an exchange. They're not here. Once that's finished, I'll maybe prepare our dinner. Well, prepare a curry or make the kids with their chips, their sausages. I'll make the curry, which is from scratch. I don't like to buy the ready-made stuff. I like to make my own. We'll have our dinner about 5 o'clock. Kids will watch the television while they're doing that. Me and Maury have our dinner. We'll wash the dishes, get everything all cleared away. I'll do my third exchange of the day. Once we do that, the kids are getting ready to go home. We'll get them ready, take them home with their respective parents, because there's usually different ones people to go with. We'll do that and we'll come back. If we've any shopping to do, we'll do it later on. My next exchange again is at 10 o'clock. Television takes up the time between 6 and 10, either with the kids or without. Catching up with, Maureen likes her soaps. I like my cooking programmes, MasterChef, or if there's a film on, we'll watch a film. Then at 10 o'clock, I'll do my last exchange. It finishes, then we'll catch up with any programmes that we've taped they could watch together. And once we've done that, then it's time for bed. You get myself ready for bed. Maureen will stay up a wee bit later, and I'll go to bed about 12 o'clock, and that's a typical day.
Hi, my name's Susie, I'm 25 and I'm from Shawlands in Glasgow. I'm an optician and I'm just going to talk to you a wee bit about my average day. So in the morning I wake up at about 7 o'clock and I sometimes go to the gym depending on how active I'm feeling. I generally just get up, have a shower and get myself ready for work. I tend to leave my house around about 8:15 and I just walk now that I live a wee bit closer to the practice. It takes me about 15-20 minutes to walk. I arrive at work, we have to clock in with our cards and I usually just have a quick catch up with the girls, we have a cup of tea and I have my breakfast and then we're all ready to go at 9 o'clock. First patients generally come in on time and usually we're fully booked from 9 until 5:30. In the mornings I usually see contact lens patients if possible, so try to get them in and out in the mornings or later on in the evenings as well. So with the contact lens patient, they wear their lenses to the appointment. I get them in, check how they're getting on with the lenses, make sure the vision's okay, make sure the comfort's okay, make sure they're generally happy with everything they've got. Some of these patients are direct debit, so they get the lenses sent to their house. Some of them just buy them from us whenever they need them. I'll check the health of the eye, I'll check the health of the lens, get the patient to take the lens out, check the health again, make sure everything's okay, fingers crossed usually it is, and then send them on their way. Other types of patients that I might see are just general sight test patients. I see a lot of over 60s here in Shawlands, so I have to do a lot of dilating of the pupils. That's just to make the pupil bigger so we can have a good look at the health of the back of the eye. Again, just get the patients in, see how they're getting on with their glasses, if they wear them, see how their vision is there in any way that we can improve it. We don't only correct vision with contact lenses and glasses here, we actually offer laser eye surgery and refractive surgery as well, so lens replacement or intraocular lenses as well. So we're trying to find a visual correction for every patient, whether it be one of those things I already mentioned. So in the mornings I'm seeing maybe 7 or 8 patients, whether it be contact lens or sight tests. Then we have a lovely break at lunchtime. I usually take my lunch at about 1 o'clock. And I'll have lunch with one of the girls, one of the optical assistants, in our little staff room up the back. Generally for lunch I have the same thing pretty much every day. I'm very into my fitness, very into my health, very into my meal prep, so I do a lot of meal prep at the weekends. So all I have to do each night is take something out of the freezer, defrost it, eat it for lunch. So sometimes I don't even know what I'm having because all my Tupperwares look the same. So today I had some lovely chicken and chorizo with some spinach, which was delightful. And then I get about 50 minutes, so if I get a chance I'll try and go out and have a walk around the streets, because as you can see I'm stuck in a wee room, no windows, no aircon, so especially when the weather's like this I like to get out and about. Back in at 2 o'clock, again usually got a full clinic, so I've got a patient coming in at 2, again could be sight test, could be contact lens. Sometimes we even see people that we would call a walk-in, so the patient just walks in, they're either wanting an eye test, they've got a problem with their eyes, they might have a sore eye, something's happened. So we need to see that patient because we kind of treat it as an emergency. So sometimes work can be a bit more exciting if it's something like that. But that adds on to the top of the clinic as well. So if it was a patient that had an emergency, I might need to write a referral letter to either their GP or to the hospital. If it really is an emergency, I sometimes just have to send them straight to the hospital, but that would be things like a retinal detachment or closed angle glaucoma, things where the patient really needs to be seen on that day. Other referrals, things like cataracts, they don't need to be seen straight away, so it's just a routine referral up to usually the Victoria, because that's the catchment area for here. Round about 5 o'clock we're starting to finish up, making sure that I've got all the patient's notes up to date for the next day, making sure we've got all the patient files ready for the next day. I work in here 4 days a week, but also work in lots of other stores because we're all employed as mobile, so I work in Castlemilk one day and in the St Enoch's branch on a Sunday, so I just need to make sure I've got all my equipment ready to go for the next day, whether it be here or elsewhere. Generally when I finish work, if I've had a lazy morning, I will go straight to the gym, which is just across the road, and meet up with some friends there, have a good workout, and then I've got to trudge all the way back home up that horrible hill. When I get home again, as I said, very into my meal prep, so I've probably got something sitting, waiting, ready to go in, either the microwave or the oven. And I'm actually doing a postgrad at the moment, so on my average day after I've been to the gym, I'm having to sit down and either do some coursework or a bit of studying. Generally about 10 o'clock I call it a day and want to just sit and watch Netflix in my bed, and usually that's about 10:30, and then that's me asleep after that, and then round 2 the next day.
Hello, I'm Stuart, I'm 51 from Paisley. Okay, so normal day. I get up at 7 o'clock, although that it's actually 6:30. I've got a strange quirk of setting my clock half an hour fast. I have done for years, don't know why, it's just me, strange thing. So we'll do it every morning. I'm probably usually awake before the alarm actually goes off, so it's just me. Coffee time. Yeah, drink lots of coffee. That is breakfast. That's probably the only thing I have for breakfast, which I know is not great. And usually coffee does me up until about midday at work. So yeah, I know it's not great, but that's me every morning. So I set off to work over in East Kilbride from Paisley. Takes me about 35 minutes, a wee bit longer than a bad day. Set off at the same time, so get into work for 7:45. Go and grab another coffee. Speak to the same people, great bunch, nice folk. Take my coffee upstairs. Working a hot desking system, and that's probably why it's good to get in quite early to make sure we get a desk. So if you're not there sharpish, you're backed off to one side, or you're going to have to work on another floor. So set up the laptop. First thing is emails, reading a lot of emails, correspondence. It can take 5 minutes to go through an action, or it can take the first hour, so it really just depends. So I work in international development with a couple of countries in particular, Burma and Pakistan, so we work 5 hours ahead of us, and that's usually when I have meetings first thing in the morning, just to counter offset the time. In addition to that, I also have video conferencing with them. I'm getting used to the delay, and using VCs is a bit strange. It was at first when I started with the organisation I work for, but you get used to it. You get used to the delay. So that was my main bit, probably up until about lunchtime, and then it's off to lunch. Meet up with a friend of mine. We do the same route roughly about the same time, if we're not doing other things, down to Lidl. Probably the same lunch. Have done for the last 4 years probably. Maybe time for a change. So take about half an hour, 40 minutes, then it's back to work. And by that time, there's probably more emails that's come in. And since I deal with, quite a bit of money, sometimes they can't be actioned straight away. Dealing with a lot of cash that potentially goes out to countries, working in education and governance, so yeah, it can take up some time. I usually work until about 4, maybe sometimes after if need be, but mainly I like to get away sharp. And the route home takes me, again, the same amount of time. It's good because I'm going against traffic. I don't hit any traffic, so it's nice and straightforward. Don't like to make it too complicated. So sometimes stop at Tesco's and Sainsbury's, get some stuff in for a meal. It's usually me does it during the week, just fine. Prepare stuff, usually chicken, quite a lot. We tend to like chicken quite a bit. So get that done. Sit around the table, just chew the fat over the day, not necessarily at work, but just rubbish things. And to relax in the evening, I tend not to watch the soaps and stuff. I try to avoid them like the plague. And very much so the same with reality programmes, just does my box in. So I tend to go off and look at the laptop or do a wee bit of work sometimes. And that's me, and usually about 10 o'clock that's it, that's for me. So
my name is Khadija and I'm 22 years old, and usually I wake up at around 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I stay on my phone for a bit, just scrolling through Instagram, checking my emails, going on Snapchat, and then I just get up at around 12 or something, and then I go to the toilet, I brush my teeth, and then I take a shower, and then I do my hair, and that takes a bit of a time, and then I would say an hour later or so, probably just eat some cereal, some bread flakes, and then I go to work. and I open and work sometimes at 11:30, but usually it's like around 5 o'clock, so I just go out, and if it's a sunny day I'll just go to the park, and then I'd stay there for about a while, maybe read something or just chill there, and then I'd go into work. And I work as a waitress in a restaurant in Stay Kettle. It's called Stay Kettle, and it's in Sauchiehall Street. So I've been doing that for a couple of months now. So basically, it's just it's table service. So what I do is when the customers, we have like our sections. So basically, I'll just, when the customers come in, see them at the tables, and then take the orders, and making sure throughout the whole stay that they get the service they need. So just checking up on how everything is going for them. And then around, if I'm working more than 6 hours, I get a break, and the break is around 30 minutes. So we can't really have the breaks together. So usually I'm just eating my lunch by myself upstairs in the staff room. And what I have is basically vegan wrap. Like they have these really delicious vegan wraps. So I just have them, the same ones actually every lunch. And that while I'm on the break, I'm just on my phone. If I don't have any more data, I'm just reading a book or something. But usually I'm just on my phone during the 30 minutes, and then I just go down back to work and continue the table service. And I usually get off work around, if I'm working from 6, I finish work around 11 or midnight, or sometimes 10 o'clock. And then I just go straight back home, and I take the bus around probably midnight or something to get back home if I'm closing on that day. And then I get back home, I eat something, probably just some veggies with mushrooms or whatever I'm in the mood for that night. And then I catch a movie with my flatmate, we just watch a TV show or something, and then I just go to bed around probably midnight or like 1 o'clock. If I'm home late that day, I'll probably go to bed like around 2 or 1 in the morning. But if I get home early that day, say I get home at 9 o'clock, I just go to bed around 11 or something. And yeah, that's basically my day.
Hello, my name is Adam Barr. I'm 52 years old, and I'm the preacher for the Church of Christ in Cumbernauld here, and have been so for 31 years now. A typical day for me would be where I would wake up in the morning between 6:30 and 6:45. I usually get up and have a little bit of breakfast that I put in a bag to take with me because I go to the gym. And so I try and be at the gym before 7 o'clock, and on the way there I'll have usually a little tub of Benecol Light, one of those probiotic drinks I guess is what you call them, along with usually a piece of fruit and maybe about 90 grams of chicken, so that I can get some protein before I go into the gym. Maybe just a tangerine just to kind of freshen my mouth up. So when I get to the gym, I usually spend about 30 minutes doing some cardio work. I do that on the Arc trainer. Then I do some stretches and exercises on my knee because I've had some knee problems lately, and I guess that's what comes from being 52 years old. But once I've done my knee stretches, I go in and do some weights, different exercise every day. Usually on a Tuesday it would be back weights and triceps. And then I do about another 30 minutes on the treadmill, and that keeps my steps up because I've got a Fitbit here, and some of the youngsters in the church have challenged me on the Fitbit challenge, so I like to keep my steps up and keep ahead of them, or they rub it into me. I usually finish in the gym about 9 o'clock and then go for a shower, and the church building here is very close to the gym, so I just leave my vehicle in the car park there and walk up, and I'm here by about 9:30. And I'll be here from 9:30 till about 5 on a Tuesday, 5:30 on a Wednesday. Once I get here, I'll put the sign out for the church building to let people know that we're here and they can pop up any time. and visit with us, or if they need some help or to talk or anything like that. So we're available for all of that. And then I'll usually get into a bit of study for my own. Usually I have a class on a Tuesday night, excuse me, and so I'll start studying for that. But there's one of our young men, he's about 26, and he has asked for a Bible study and in the last few weeks. So we're going through the book of Romans. So he'll come up for about an hour. We'll have I'll have a glass of water, he'll have a glass of Coke or whatever, and we'll study the book of Romans for about an hour. And then when he goes, usually have a bit of a morning snack. I try and eat something healthy through the day, so I'll maybe have some yogurt with raspberries and blueberries and a bit of granola in there. And if that's not available, I'll maybe have some chocolate, who knows, maybe just treat myself. But then I'll also do some more of my own personal study for classes that are going on at the time. Lunchtime, usually we've got someone coming in to visit. Some of the ladies will come up to clean, and I'll maybe have some lunch with them. Or there's another older gentleman that sometimes I meet him at 1 o'clock for a study kind of chat. He just wants to talk about some things, and so usually I'll go down to Costa for that and have a chai tea latte with soy milk and spend about an hour with him. When I come back, I'll do some studying for that class that I've got on a Tuesday night. At the moment, we're doing Paul's first letter to Timothy, so I'll prepare for that. Excuse me. Then at 3 o'clock, there's another one of our young boys. He's only 9, but he asked his mum if he could learn more about the Bible, and so she's approached me and asked if I'll spend some time with him. So I usually go and get him from school, and he is at one of the schools at North Carbrain. I can't even remember the name of it. Primary school. I think he's just moving into primary 6. So I usually go and pick him up at 3 o'clock, and we walk back up here, and we'll grab a Coke on the way up, and maybe a sweet treat or something like that. And we'll sit usually through in our young people's room where they spend most of their time. It's got a TV and some nice comfortable couches and that sort of thing. And we'll study, because he's younger, maybe just for about 30 or 35 minutes. And then his mum usually comes, picks him up, and I'll get back to my own studying. By that time, one of our young men, he's 26, who is actually studying to become a preacher, he is here by then, so we kind of mentor him on some of the courses that he studies. So usually there'll be some discussion with him about what he's studying, if he needs to ask some questions or needs some help with some of the coursework. And then about 5 o'clock, normally we stay till about 5:30, but about 5 o'clock on a Tuesday we head back, and I take the young preacher student with me back to my house for some dinner. I never know what I'm going to get. My wife's a very good cook. She cooks most things from scratch. I've recently just lost about 60 pounds, which I had to. So she cooks up a good meal for us. We're not in for very long, because then we leave about 5:55, 6 o'clock. We have our Bible class for the kids at 6:30 in Cumbernauld Academy, and that runs till 7:30, so we have to pick up all of those kids and take them there. And then at 7:30 we break up the classes, and we have about an hour's worth of games in Cumbernauld Academy for the primary 1 to 1st year kids. The 2nd year kids and older are up here in our teen room, and they stay till 9 o'clock. So we drop off all of the kids from the Cumbernauld School Youth Club, and then we come up here and we pick up the older kids and we take them home. So I'm usually home about 9:30, so there's not really too much time for relaxing that day, but when I do relax, I do enjoy a bit of photography, and like that you've got a Nikon camera there. I'm a Nikon man myself, and so I don't have much time to do that, but I do enjoy it. I love going up into the mountains and mostly kind of landscape work there. I don't have much time for fiction reading, because I'm reading so much during the day for my studies. It becomes a little bit more difficult to read fiction, but I do. The author I'm enjoying right now is Robin Hobb. She's kind of like a fantasy fiction writer, and I enjoy that. So I try and do a little bit of that at night. We don't really get to watch much TV. Probably I watch more TV in the gym actually, and I usually watch King of Queens or Everyone Loves Raymond or Frasier. Little 30-minute comedies is kind of what I like to lighten the day. But when I get home about 9:45, I'll have some supper, not something heavy, something light, maybe even some fruit again, and then I try to be in bed. My Fitbit tells me to go to bed at 11:45, but I don't usually make it. Usually it's after midnight by the time I've caught up on emails and answered some of those things and got my books and stuff set out, my gym clothes and all that set out for the next day.
Hi, my name is Tricia Simon. I am 61 years of age. I live in Rutherglen. On a typical Monday morning, I am usually working 9 to 1. I work in Peacocks, which is a retail store. I would get up about 6ish, go in, have my shower, shampoo my hair, come downstairs, blow dry my hair, watch the news, have my breakfast, which could some days consist of Weetabix. It could be porridge. I like my porridge. I've got a notion just now for boiled eggs. Go back upstairs, get ready for work, put my clothes on obviously, put my face on, and I usually leave about 8:15, and I like a nice slow walk to work, and I get in maybe about 9:15, although I don't start till 9, talk to Marion, chat, what did you do at the weekend, start work at 9 o'clock, and that would consist of going over, being on the till, which I used to hate but now I've got used to it, clear up round about the till if there's any mess. You get a lot of customers come in on a Monday first thing with returns, do that, and you get a lot of orders for click and collect, so you would take their details, go through to the stock room, get their order, come back through, and then sometimes it could be a change on, which is moving things round about the store, answering the phone from other stores to see if we have an item that they might don't have, and then maybe go for a coffee. Marion will say go for your coffee, do that, come back, maybe put out delivery, if there's delivery left lying, bring it through from the delivery, put it out on the floor to sell obviously, leave about 1 o'clock and I would go and get my newspaper, go for a coffee, and then maybe jump the bus into town, go through Marks and Spencer's, have a look in there, see what's doing. Usually of late it's been nothing. Come out there, go into Superdrug, do Fraser's, Zara, and then I would maybe leave about 5ish, get the bus up the road, come home, have my dinner with Thomas, and we would have lasagna and chips out of Marks and Spencer's because that's what I'm only allowed to buy. Have our dinner, sit down to watch the news, and usually fall asleep, and I waken up with Thomas giving that, clapping, that wakens me up, go away up the stairs and maybe start getting ready for bed because I like to watch Love Island and I like to watch it all nice and relaxed, watch that, and then come downstairs, ask Thomas, would you like a cup of tea, make the cup of tea. Even if he doesn't want one, I'll have one myself, and maybe then think about going back up the stairs to get ready for bed if I'm working the next day. If I'm off the next day, I tend to stay up a wee bit later, so maybe go to bed, say, about 12 o'clock. And that's really it.
My name is Aidan Offen. I am 19 years old and I work for AG Bar Soft Drinks. My morning starts at 4:30 when I get up. I go downstairs, have breakfast, which is Kellogg's cornflakes, and then I get into my car and drive to the Broadwood Loch and go for a morning run. After that run, I would go to a gym beside it, Broadwood Gym, and get changed into my work clothes to start my day. My work shift starts at 6:30 officially, but depending on the area I will be delivering to, I can start earlier than that. So normally I leave the work, this place behind me, at 6 o'clock. We deliver in Dumbarton, Clydebank. So what I do, my job is the drinks that AG Bar produce, we go into the shops and deliver them into all the different shops, whether it's from shops from USave to all the way to big shops like Tesco, and that's our role. What we do is we go into the shops, we ask them what they want from our truck, what we have on the truck, and we'll take it into them and they'll pay us. And that's basically my day from the 6 o'clock margin all the way to, depending on when I finished, that which also varies depending on where I deliver to and what customers have ordered. Customers can order from a single case to over 200 cases, and we have to manage that and deal with that and structure it on our truck so that we can deliver it to them. I usually have lunch or I have a snack around maybe 10 o'clock, which could be a little crisps or a wee sandwich to keep me going. And then later on in the day, maybe between 12:30 and 1, I would have my lunch, which is usually a chicken and bacon Caesar salad, plus a drink that I get from the truck and a packet of crisps, and then usually get back from the work at around 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then when we get back to this depot where we'll load up, we'll check in all the stuff we've taken out and all the stuff we brought back, and then we'll say, right, what do we want for tomorrow, what do customers want, and then we'll put that on the truck, we'll park up into the loading bay, we'll get all the stock onto the truck, and then we'll check it out, and then we'll get checked by checkers to make sure that all the products are correct and nothing is missing or stolen in any fashion. And then after that, we'll get loaded up, and then it's time for me to go home, which would be roughly around 4:30, 5 o'clock. After that, I like to go back to the gym, so I'll get in my car, drive to Broadwood Gym, and then get changed and then just work out depending on what day it is. My workout will vary. I'll usually go in the gym for about an hour and a half, which means that I get home at maybe about 7 o'clock. As soon as I get home, I'll have dinner. That varies depending on how I'm feeling, to be honest. That can usually be rice or just whatever my mum's made for me. So I'll have dinner, and then around maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'll go wash myself, I'll go for a shower, and then after that it'll just vary depending on what I'm doing. Maybe I'll watch TV. I like watching The Simpsons, or I'll read a book, or I'll just work on what I'm going to be doing in the gym the next day, or what I'm going to be doing at work the next day. All this, and then maybe around 10 o'clock I'll go to my bed and I'll go for a sleep.
So my name's Andy Gallagher, I'm 44. A typical day for me is I wake up my alarm goes off at 6:45 on a typical day, and I get up, shower and shave, and usually I'll have breakfast. Normal breakfast would be 2 Weetabix with hot milk, honey and raisins. And I sort of aim to leave by about 7:30, and then I drive to work. It takes me about an hour to get to work. I work up in Stirling, so I get to work about 8:30, and the first thing I always do is go and get a Costa coffee. Sometimes I'll get a pastry, and then I'll go to my desk. So I'm an actuary. So what is an actuary? So insurance companies have sort of, I guess, a complicated sort of business, and they need to report to the regulator, effectively the government, to demonstrate that they're not going to go bust, so that they're running the company in a sensible way, they're solvent, and they're not going to go bust and lose all the policyholders' money. So I work in that sort of reporting side of things. So I work specifically on the sort of developing method and assumptions. So on the reporting side, there's basically people who sort of they sort of turn the handles and they do the reporting and they hand that over to the regulators. So I guess on the method side, you're sort of designing those handles, so designing how you value things, the sort of method you're going to use, what the implications of it for the business. So that involves sort of talking to people across the business, sort of a lot of writing sort of papers, proposals that go through governance. Nothing gets accepted until it's been through various layers of governance in the company. So that's like a typical day. So a lot of writing reports, a lot of talking to people, basically. Always have lunch about 12:15. I always make my lunch. I take in my lunch these days. I make myself 2 rolls every day, with nice chicken salad, and yeah. So the bank of desks where I work now is like 8 people, and maybe a few of us go down. So I'll maybe go down and get a soup. We'll go down and get a lunch. and then bring it back to desk and just eat it at our desks. And it's fine. We have a chat while we sort of eat our lunch. The guy beside me is like a really nice guy, but he fucking eats incredibly loudly, a bit like a fucking scavenging dog, really, and he's like that all day, which is can be really fucking annoying, but you know, I bite my tongue. So like I work usually till about, a typical day would be about maybe 5:45, 6 o'clock, and then I'll finish up. Then I'll go back to my car, drive down the road, get home for about 7. If I've got food in the house, I'll then just make my dinner, and it's always quite a quick dinner. Can't be bothered spending a lot of time in the kitchen, so typical dinner would be fish and rice, something spiced up in some way to make it a bit more interesting. Then usually maybe if I'm feeling like good, I'll go for a run, or go to the gym, or I might have to do a bit of housework or something, and then maybe about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night I might sit down for an hour and watch the telly, and then I'll probably go to my bed. I'm a complete lightweight, so I'll go to my bed at like 10:30, 11, and that's me for the night.
Hi, my name's Kerry. I work in Ward 8 in Hayes Myers, which is a surgical vascular ward. I set my alarm for 5:40 in the morning. I get up straight away. I don't wait for the snooze alarm. I go and get a shower. I'll go downstairs and have some cereal and some toast, and I'll head into work. Tend to get into work a little bit early, about 6:45, so that I can have a quick read over the handover before I'm actually given the official one by night shift. Once I've had my handover from night shift, I'll start my medication straight away. So I'll tend to look at my list of which patients are maybe post-op and sort of prioritise them first of all, because they tend to be in pain, so I'll need to administer some analgesia for them. As well as doing the medications, I'll also check the patient's blood sugars. Once we've done the medication, I'll administer the insulin and also the IV antibiotics as well. Try and get the medications done before 8:15, because that's when our surgical vascular ward round starts. That involves checking each of the vascular patients. That tends to include checking all their wounds as well, either post-op patients to ensure that they're healing, that there's no sepsis, and that there's no real concerns with that. We also may plan removing drains, removing catheters. I tend to try and do that straight away so that it's not left in too long, because patients tend to want them out as soon as possible. Once we've completed the ward round, what I tend to do then is prioritise what I need to do that day, what referrals I need to make, who I need to make referrals to for what patients. Then we usually go for our first tea break about 9ish. I'll tend to only have like a couple of slices of toast and a cup of tea. Come back, and then what I'll do is I'll get a handover from my clinical support. She'll let me know what's happened to the patients while I've been away, if there's anything that they actually needed. What I'll do then is work my way through what I need to do that day to try and get the patients home as quickly and as safely as possible. So usually we work very closely with the physios and the OT. We'll have a handover with them about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we'll discuss what's required for that patient, what's the plan of action with regards whether they need theatre or whether they're post-theatre, and what they need to get home, and whether it's maybe aids to help them with the mobility or whether it's actually equipment at home. So we'll work very closely with the physios and OT. Throughout the day then we have families coming in and out because we have open visiting, so I'll keep them up to date with the plan of action for the patients. I'll also help the patients with any questions that they might have. Also, they might need a bit of counselling. You know, they might have just found out that they need an amputation, so they want to talk through the process of that. What they want to know is what will happen afterwards. So we tend to have a chat with them about that. What we would, how we would actually enable them after that. We do medications again about 12 o'clock. We'll do the insulins again, and we'll do the check the blood sugars if needed, and also the IV antibiotics. Then we'll start tea breaks again. I'll tend to usually always have like a large lunch because I'll go for a run after work because I don't want to eat later on. Once I return from lunch, I'll then get another handover from either the physios or OTs if they've already made assessments, or any other members of the MDT, so it could be the doctors or it could be a dietitian that's been in, and they'll give me an update on any changes for the patient or what plan that they've put in place for the patient, and then I'll just implement that. Again, the afternoon is taken up with maybe tasks that we might have for the patients, or it might be dealing with referrals or just prepping them for theatre. Again, keeping families and the patients up to date as well, dealing with any dressings that we might need to renew if there are any that are leaking. In the afternoon then we'll do medications again about 4 o'clock. We'll do the same cycle again, prioritise any analgesia for the patients, checking blood sugars and administering any insulin, and also giving IV antibiotics as well. Once we've completed that, and if the patients are quite settled, if there's no issues, you know, for example, if a patient had taken on well, they would always take priority. We would then start breaks again. In the meantime, if we do have any concerns about patients, we always have to escalate any issues that we might have. This is usually triggered by when we've done an observation on a patient. If they're using above 2 or 3 and that's not their normal, and basically what we'd want to avoid is to make sure that they're not developing any sepsis, and if they are, that we're dealing with it immediately. Try and escalate any problems before they actually happen. We start third breaks then. Once we've completed the third break, again I will get a handover of any of the members of the MDT, in particular the clinical support worker that I'm working closely with that day, and she'll update me on anything that was needed for the patients while I was away. I tend to do a set of observations on all the patients at that point then to make sure that they're comfortable, or if there's any concerns that I can escalate them before the night shift come on. I'll then update the report with up-to-date information of what the plan of action is for the patient and what's required for them to get home as soon as possible. After work, I'll tend to go for a run with a friend. I'll go for a coffee, maybe pop into Asda and go home and probably run around after my 2 sons and my husband. Usually take them to scouts or take them to rugby, maybe read a book, but I tend not to go to bed till quite late. I don't sleep very often. I don't sleep for very long. I sleep often but not very long. So I probably stay up till about 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. Probably not enough sleep, but that's all I need. And that's my day.
My name is Dugan. I come from Kurdistan. My age is 32. Wake up in the morning, 7 o'clock, get kids ready, get out the nursery and come here to work, and go to the bank 9 o'clock, and basically always been cutting hair like and work, brushing, and finish work here 6 o'clock, go home and get a shower, get me very relaxed. Go to my bed 12 o'clock.
My name is Raymond Woodside and I'm 26 years old. My typical day starts at about 7 in the morning when I get up for work. I usually go in and brush my teeth, wash my face, and then maybe have a quick cigarette before getting ready for work. I usually leave the house at about 8:05. I get on the bus for about 8:15. I usually arrive in town for about 20 to 9. It just gives me a bit of time. I usually sometimes jump into Tim Hortons for a coffee when I've got the money. And then I'll start work at about 9 o'clock, but before then I'll just get logged into my system, check my emails, see what my schedule is for the day, see if I've got any people to call back. I work for a energy supplier, so mostly my calls are based around like billing, taking meter readings, and just general queries. I usually get my break around about an hour, 45 minutes into my first hour and a half, and it's 15 minutes, so usually it's just down the stair, I have a quick cigarette, and then I'm back up, and it's basically just back to taking some calls. I'm basically, what I do is I work for Scottish Power, so I'm taking people's accounts that have basically left, and they've moved to a new supplier or they've moved house, and I'm just providing a final bill with actual meter reads, or I'm taking on complaints and raising them to superior people from the office. So it's just mostly stuff like that and just general queries, and then I'll have my lunch, which usually lasts around about half an hour. I'll go down to Tesco, maybe get myself a sandwich or something, some juice. My mum usually sometimes makes me chicken rolls, so I quite enjoy them sometimes. I'll have a quick cigarette, and then I'll maybe sit in the breakout area for like the last 5 minutes of my lunch, chill out on my phone, check the football, stuff like that, and then I'll just return. Usually once I'm back on the phones, it's basically just what I said I was dealing with, like final bills and stuff. Then I will get my last break. Usually I'm on a 9 till 5, so it's last break's 15 minutes, the same as the first. I usually just use that for a quick cigarette and just a chilled in period just before returning to the phones for maybe like my last hour and a half. And then finish up, just arrange any callbacks that I've got at the end of the day. Maybe if I've got my stats, update them to my manager before I leave. So I usually leave work at maybe 5 o'clock if I'm lucky. Sometimes if I'm stuck on a call, I could leave just up to any time after 5. But usually I get on the bus for about 20 past 5 when I've left work at 5, and I'm up the road for about 10 to 6. And then really I just get in the house, my mum makes me my dinner, I'll chill out, have my dinner, and then maybe go and play the Xbox. A game that I enjoy playing is Ark Survival Evolved. I play online with my brother sometimes. Usually I play for about 2.5 hours after I've finished my dinner and stuff, and then I'll basically just go and lie in my bed about 11:15 and watch the Limmy show sometimes, well most of the time, and basically just go to sleep and back up again in the morning.
Hi, I'm Quacker Adri. I'm a 29-year-old and I live right here in Glasgow. I was born and raised in Glasgow. My parents are originally from Ghana, West Africa, but I am raised here in Glasgow, so I'm a big Glaswegian. There's the old saying, you can take the man out of Glasgow, but you can't take the Glasgow out of him, and that's pretty much me. Wherever I go, I'm still wanting to order myself a roll of sausage, get myself some Scottish tap water. A day in the life of myself, it does vary. I'm not so much a morning person. I generally wake up at about 11 a.m. That's a bit of a push. I'll just say that to make me sound okay, but generally about 11 a.m. is generally when I wake up, between 11 and 12. Don't so much have breakfast, to be honest. I'm more of a lunch and dinner type person, so what I do is just kind of wake up, and my first thought is, do I need to catch up on some work? My main work that I do is I'm a market researcher, so I run focus groups where I get people together and on behalf of a company ask them questions based on what the company wants to see. So basically things along the lines of what would you like to see improved in, say a shopping centre or a bar or something like that. So what I do is I just kind of try and catch up on that work. If I've got a field work, for example, I need to go out to a meeting and run a focus group, what I would generally do is I maybe grab grab some toast or bread. I like doing that because I actually make my own bread. It's something I've started doing recently. It's quite weird, it's quite whatever, but I love making my own bread. So generally I'll just grab a piece of toast or bread that I've made myself and then run out the door and drive on to whatever site it is that I'm working at. If I'm not doing work for market research, I have side projects that I do. The main thing I like to do is I actually produce a podcast. It's called Eat, Sleep, Suplex, Retweet. It's based on wrestling, both locally and internationally. So, for example, WWE and local-based wrestling company ICW. So what I would do is I would produce quite a lot of the music and maybe edit a previous podcast for uploading, along the things like that. That generally goes from about, if I'm not doing my work, that goes from about 12 to 3 o'clock. Then after that, what I would do, if I'm doing my podcast, I would head into Glasgow and head into a recording studio, and I will work on the podcast and record it and do the production for it. Generally, when I'm in the studio, it's between 4 o'clock and 7:30. After 7:30, what I would do is I would maybe grab some dinner. It depends. I may grab something on the way home, or if I've made I'm big on my Italian food, so I like my pasta, I like my ragouts, I love beef especially. I mean, who doesn't like beef? It's absolutely fantastic. So that's what I would generally have. If not that, then I'll maybe grab a takeaway. I know that's naughty, but it is what it is. That's if I don't have the time really to do it. Another thing that I would do, so if I don't have the podcast or don't have work during the afternoon, what I would do is I would pick up my nephews. They actually are based at a school quite close to where I stay. They're only up the road, so at 3 o'clock I go and pick them up and bring them back to my house. What we would do is we would maybe do, we would first of all do their homework. Very important that they get their homework done. And then after that, we would head out to maybe the park if it's a great sunny day like it is in Glasgow right now. We would maybe, if it's a bit rainy, what we would do is maybe go out somewhere, maybe grab some food. They always like to try and have a McDonald's or something out of me, but I'm always trying to give them healthier options just to make sure like I'm not being the naughty uncle. I'm trying to be a good uncle to them. So generally when I'm out with them, that is between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. I would bring them back, and my sister would come and pick them up after she's finished her work. Now if I'm not doing my podcast or whatever, another thing I like to do in the evening is I would head out and go to a wrestling show. I go to so many wrestling shows, anything from ICW, Scottish, that's Insane Championship Wrestling, Scottish Wrestling Alliance, Discovery, Premier British Wrestling, so many different companies, also Glasgow Pro Wrestling Asylum. I love wrestling. I know it's a guilty hobby, but I absolutely love wrestling. So that's generally, those are anywhere between 4 o'clock in the afternoon right up until 11 o'clock-ish. That's generally where it is. If I'm out wrestling, going to wrestling shows, then I would generally stay out with pals. I would maybe go and grab a burger, grab some drinks afterwards, just to kind of chill after such a high-impact evening watching wrestling. And a big hobby that I like to do, I've been doing this now for about 7 years, is actually DJing. Now, the reason why I've chosen this area is Strathclyde Union is because I actually have a residency here at Strathclyde Union. If I'm DJing, what I generally do is I spend my time between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock preparing the music I'm going to play. Also, if I'm going to be running a pub quiz, which I sometimes do, I also prepare the pub quiz questions and answers. Obviously, don't hand out the answers to people until the end of the quiz, but there we go. When I'm DJing generally between 7 and midnight, so that's why pretty much I'm not as much as a morning person, because everything I do is in the afternoon and in the evening. Generally, like in my normal life, what I would do is I quite often have my dinner quite late, so I have my dinner any time after 10 p.m. generally, just because of the way my life is structured, like everything falls in quite late. When I get home, that's when I kind of catch up on TV. So like I don't generally watch live TV unless there's something really good on. But what I do is I generally catch up on iPlayer, ITV Hub, Netflix, so many. I'm a subscriber to quite a few on-demand services purely because I don't watch TV live. Generally I just watch TV until I fall asleep, and generally when I fall asleep it's about 3-4 a.m. It depends really, but mainly I'm a late bedder, hence why I don't really do much in the morning, and that is pretty much a day in the life of myself.
My name is Isabel Marshall. I'm not telling you what age I am, but I have a bus pass. My normal day starts like waking about any time between 7:30, 8:30. In the winter I might lie a bit longer, but I get up, have my shower, come downstairs, have breakfast, which is normally fruit or porridge and tea and toast or coffee and toast. Some mornings I go to an exercise class, so I get the local bus, which is a great social occasion because there's always someone on the bus to talk to. After my exercise class, I meet my friends for coffee, then come home about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and Billy and I have lunch, which is maybe soup or a toastie, something like that. In the afternoon, we might watch a bit of television. I'm not a great television fan. Maybe Antiques Roadshow, Homes Under the Hammer, or a documentary. Sometimes we make a point of trying to get out most days. We may just go up to the town centre, do a bit of shopping, or go to Falkirk or Stirling. Some days we socialise and we meet up with friends, go and have lunch and a bit of a chat. Or we might go to Glasgow to the theatre. Normally if we go to the theatre it's the afternoon showing, which means we're not late home, or we might go to the cinema. We're normally home maybe about no later than 10 at night. Then have a bit of supper, which is maybe toast and coffee again, depending how hungry we are. Then it's ready for me for bed. I'm normally in bed about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I'll lie and read until maybe about 1, depending how good the book is. And that's me.
I'm Ruben Kelly, 48, and a Royal Mail postman. The day begins usually about 3:30. I get up and go in, have a wash, brush my teeth, and I don't turn the light on. Don't ask me why, but I like to. My routine is to keep the darkness, and then I have a shave, electric razor, and I find that it's good to plan my day as I'm shaving. It sounds crazy, but that's what I do. Then it takes me about 5-10 minutes to get dressed, get myself, put my uniform on, and I don't walk to work, I drive to work, because in the morning it's too dark, cold, nothing much going up at 3:30 in the morning, and it takes me 5 or so minutes to drive to work, and so it's about nearly 4 o'clock, get to the office. I have to open the gates, so I get my keys out, open up the gates, make sure everyone's ready, get the door of the office opened up, into the office, prepare the office for the day coming ahead. I've got various tasks to perform. First task is you need to, the mail comes in from Glasgow, you've got to adjust the floor, move these Yorkies, things with Yorkies which have mail in them. You have to move the Yorkies around, position them different parts of the office for the postman to be able to get their mail and sort up for the deliveries later on in the day. I've got some computer work to do. You get you log on the computer, it gives you out-of-date items. It takes me about 10 minutes or so to do this. It's mainly you've got to get a list of items, pick it out off the shelves, put them to the side, and you return the items to the sender. That's the first sort of real important job of the day. Next job is you've got about 5 o'clock then. You've got the gas man appears. I would say the gas man, it's the man that brings the gas parts to our office. We have an office that has gas men coming. So that's why you open up the gas boxes. Yeah, their parts we split up. We split the gas parts up into the different engineers. Then I tick it off with a checklist to tick off. That's yet again can take you 10 minutes or so. Then it's the van appears from Glasgow around about 5:15, 5:20, and you unload this van with more mail, which you've got to count. I've got to count all these different Yorkies are called again with the mail. Count that, write it down for the boss, the manager. You record that. Then I do because I'm the postman high grade they call me. I've got to do the special deliveries. So they come in a different Yorkie, it's a green coloured Yorkie, which I put into, I work in the locker it's called. So I put the Yorkie into the locker, and it takes me about an hour and a half to sort out this mail from comes in from Glasgow, so I'll sort that out. So then it's about 6:30, then I've got to check all the postmen are actually, they've handed in all their keys and things are in position for the day ahead. Then the van comes in again about 6:45, I unload the van again, more mail. Then could be more special deliveries to sort through. That takes me about another half an hour, so we're now in 7:15. I'll do a bit more tidying up the shelves. I've got different, it's called condensing. You condense the shelves slightly for more package during the day. The office opens at 7:30, and I am ready to serve the public then at 7:30. Then anything could happen between 7:30 and about 7:30 and 8 o'clock, because that's when the public start coming in. It's very busy some mornings. You've got to rush off your feet because this is me and Moen. You've got to they come in, the public come in with their cards. I've got to go on the computer, hunt down the item, write down the number, find it, and give the item to the customer as quickly and efficiently as I can. Usually I get no break because I'm usually on my own, it's very busy, and so I'm working on until my colleague comes in about 10:30. At 10:30 he comes in to relieve me, and I can, if I'm lucky, I can get a wee bit of sit down, cup of coffee. But usually the day works out, I've got to go and do a bit of delivery, so I've got to jump in the van and go out for about an hour and a half till about 12:30, and for that time I'm finished, unless I can go home at 12:30 hopefully, go back here to the house and have my lunch. Usually I have lunch and breakfast all in one, you can call it brunch. So I have my bran flakes and yogurt, then a sandwich and a cup of tea or coffee, and I sit down in the afternoon and hopefully put the television on. Sometimes I fall asleep because I'm up early. I find it hard to keep myself awake in the afternoon, feel myself nodding off. So usually I have a small cat in the afternoon, and it's usually about 4 o'clock. If I need any shopping, I might go out and get some shopping usually, and come back, tea at 5 o'clock, always at 5, you start making something about 5 o'clock, have my tea at 5ish, then obviously about 6 o'clock, sit down again, see what's on television, and the day then ends about 7 o'clock when I go to bed and hopefully get a good night's sleep for the day coming ahead, and that's my day.
Hi, I am Jennifer, I'm 29 years old. I live here in the East End of Glasgow in this little house, which is really cute. My normal day starts off with my alarm going off about 6:15. I usually get up about 6:45, so I like to snooze it for half an hour and annoy my other half, which is fun. I usually take about an hour in the morning to get ready, just leisurely having a coffee, having something to eat, shower, makeup, things like that. I don't like to be in a rush in the morning, so I like to just chill out. I usually leave here round about 7:45, 8 o'clock, get to work about 8:30, depending on the traffic. I work for a fleet management company in Finnieston. We deliver vehicles to companies throughout the UK and to personal clients as well. We're basically a broker for finance, for car finance. So we have our own set of clients that we deal with on a daily basis, which is fun. I personally am a sales administrator, so I deal with the order to invoice process and the work. So I will order the vehicle with dealerships up and down the UK, and then advise the customer or company when their car is going to be arriving, putting their car finance in place, arranging their deliveries and invoicing the whole process afterwards. It's quite bitty, it can be quite a bitty job, although it should technically be simple. I do work for a good company, but it can be a bit repetitive at times. That's 9 till 5:30, get there at 8:30. When I do get there, I get a coffee in the morning to kind of set myself up, and have a wee bite to eat around about 10:30. Again, just kind of keeping the energy going because it is constant. I have quite a lot of clients that I do deal with on a daily basis, and particularly in certain months of the year it is extremely busy and we kind of need to be on top of it as much as possible. More so March and September because that is our big reg change months, so we need to really be on it as much as we can. I get my lunch at 1 o'clock. I get an hour for lunch and usually have a tin of soup and with bread or with crackers, followed by some kind of yogurt or snack-a-jack, kind of keeping it as healthy as possible. Hour for lunch, back about 2 o'clock, and kind of just doing the same things, you know, as I've been doing that morning, unless anything disastrous has come up over that hour that I've been away, which does often happen because you get pretty bad days in there as well. I finish at 5:30. I come home. I'm usually home for about 6 o'clock at night, and I have dinner made by my husband usually. We'll sit and have dinner together. Depending on what we've got on that night, I'll maybe not want to do anything. I'll just chill out depending on the day, and I will fall asleep usually about 9:30 because I am 5 months pregnant and I'm always tired and I'm always hungry. More so tired, so I don't really see much of the night these days, but before I was pregnant I would be out with friends quite a lot after work. I would go a walk, I would kind of keep active, but these days it's quite difficult to do that because I'm just so tired constantly. I'm sure that's not going to get any better, so I'm just trying to get used to it. I said usually sleeping in my bed for about 9:30, 10 o'clock if I'm lucky and lights are out. But yeah, that's my day.
My name's Jordan, I'm 24 and I'm from Glasgow. Most mornings I'll wake up kind of 11, 12 o'clock, I'll have a fag and a coffee, go in, maybe make myself some toast, then I'll sit and play a wee bit of Far Cry, wake myself up a bit. Usually around 2, 3 o'clock I'll go in the shop, I'll get myself juice, I'll get more fags, I'll pick up something for my dinner like a pizza. Then I'll go back, crack into some more Far Cry or Wildlands, whatever I'm playing at the time. About 5, 6 o'clock I'll usually put my dinner in the oven, sit and relax, watch a wee bit of telly, like put on some Trailer Park Boys or whatever I happen to be watching at the time. Once I finish my dinner, I'll take the dogs just across the field there. Usually kick about them out there for a good 30-45 minutes, depends on the weather really. Then I'll come back in with them, we'll sit in the living room, I'll maybe have a beer or two, watching a bit of telly. Then usually about 10 I'll jump onto PUBG with a couple of my pals, we'll talk about films that have been out recently. We've been talking about Deadpool 2, Infinity War, talk about wrestling shows that are coming up, what we've got planned for the week ahead. Just kind of general stuff. It keeps us talking, it keeps us close. I'll usually finish up with them about 12, half 12. They're usually getting ready to go to bed for work and I'm usually getting ready to phone somebody. About 1 I'll usually jump back on Far Cry for maybe an hour. Then I'll start watching a bit of Trailer Park Boys or whatever I'm watching at the time to try and unwind, try and get some sleep. I'll usually go to sleep, usually about 6 or 7, but most of the time I'm just lying watching something. Recently it's been Trailer Park Boys, Coming of Age, 2 Pints of Lager, just kind of stuff I've seen, so I don't really mind missing anything. Then eventually about 6 or 7 I'll crash it, and then that's me.
My name is Deep and I'm 24 years old and I'm a doctor. I wake up around 8 o'clock in the morning, get up, brush my teeth, go for a quick wash, and then get ready for work. So iron my shirt, get dressed, and then I make my sandwich before I go to work. Usually just get a sandwich filler and some bread and put that together and get some packets of crisps. I then also pick up some breakfast biscuits which I eat in the car on the way to work. I drive to work and it takes about 10 minutes to get there, so it's not that long of a commute. Once I get to work, the day starts off by going to the handover, so we go meet up with the night team and they let us know about any jobs that are outstanding or any patients that are sick that we need to be aware of. And then I go up to my ward and then the work day starts. So the consultant, who's the most senior doctor in the ward, does a ward round, so they see all the patients on the ward, and I go along with them, and my job is to wheel around the laptop to show any results of any blood tests or scans, and also to make a note of any new jobs that come from the ward round. The rest of the day involves me working through my list of jobs. So these can involve taking bloods from patients, or putting drips in patients, which are small plastic tubes to give them antibiotics and fluids. Another important thing is writing the discharge letters, which are summaries of a patient's admission, and they get written when a patient's ready to be discharged so that they go home on the right medications. And other things I would do throughout the day would be making calls to other specialties, so that would be other types of doctors who are more specialised in certain types of medicine to get their advice about patients' problems. That generally sort of keeps the morning busy, and I go for lunch at some point between 12 and 3 o'clock, usually the later half of that. Generally try to go with the rest of the ward team to lunch, but it depends on how busy the ward is. There's a staff area where we sit and eat, and I usually just have my sandwich that I made in the morning, packets of crisps, and we drink. Lasts about half an hour or so, depends on how busy the ward is. Sometimes it can take a wee bit longer for lunch or shorter for lunch, there's no set limit. Then I head back up to the ward and carry on through the list of jobs. Another job that crops up in the afternoons are to see new patients that have come up to the wards, so to get history, examine them, get bloods, put a drip in, just so that they're ready to be seen by the senior doctors when they come up to the wards. The working day finishes at 5 o'clock. We go down to meet the evening team and hand over any jobs that are outstanding, or any patients that are sick that need to be seen in the evening before the next day. Then I drive back home, again 10 minutes back home, get changed, and examples of things that I get up to in the evenings can include meeting my girlfriend Claire for dinner. She also works as a doctor, so if our schedules match up, we meet up for dinner, or I might meet up with friends to catch up with them, or my parents if I've not seen them in a while. Otherwise I'd sort of watch TV at home, maybe some Netflix. Alongside that I'd also just maybe do a bit of studying for any exams that I've got coming up, because we have quite a lot of exams even after uni, or work on any research projects that I'm involved in. Usually I have dinner at about between 7 and 9. Very variable. Occasionally cook pastas and such, but Usually ready meals, occasionally takeaway, or because my parents live nearby, sometimes get home cooked food from them. And then go to bed about 11 o'clock, half 11, set my alarm for the next day, and then get about 8 hours sleep before the next working day.
Hi there, my name's Jamie. Most folk at work call me Jambo. Amongst other things, I work in the building site. Technically, I am a brickies labourer, but general operative is the new word. So my day starts at 6. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, wash my face, brush my teeth, just do that kind of general stuff. I tend to leave the house for about 20 past 6. Then I drive up to the Mallockshug to meet up with Johnny Wishy. This is one of my working buddies here. We meet at the Mallockshug car share, so we'd alternate each week. So that's what we do, and then we've got this long, tedious drive down the M77 to this beautiful little bit of country called Greening, down in Ayrshire. I tend to arrive at work for about 20 past 7, roughly about 20 past 7. I'll have a cup of tea, some cereal maybe porridge, whatever, just depends what I have at work. And then about 5 to 8, I'll go out, go to the silo. The silo is where we get our mortar from. I'll bash out a bucket, put the bucket underneath, it gets filled, forklift driver comes, takes it onto the scaffold, whatever place of work we're at the moment. Presently we're down behind us at the moment, we're on a slab. We're just basically a slab. We're doing 4 course of brickwork around this slab, and then shortly after that we will be going over to do window sills. It's urgent because we've got the rough casters, they require the sills to be in so they can finish off their render. So that would take me, that's going to take us about half an hour to do that. Then we'll be going tea time, I beg your pardon. We stop at 10 o'clock for our tea break, but we tend to wander up about 10 to get my hands washed and all that kind of stuff in the canteen. Great facilities here, by the way. I work for McTaggart Mickle and really do the health and safety. The place of work is just is great. So then we have a cup of tea, sit in the canteen, read a paper, have a bit of banter, talk about football, the Celtic kind of stuff and all this kind of Rangers in particular, because there's a lot of Celtic supporters here, we're slagging them off. So that would take us to about 10 past 10, come back to our place of work again, maybe put the materials out for the bricklayers. Whilst they are building away, I'll maybe sweeping down the scaffold, picking up some of the broken block, bits of DPC, scrape down the walls for the render to go on. I may check the cavities because it's important the cavities are kept nice and clean. Any rubbish that comes down, mortar that gets down onto the cavities, it's essential that gets cleaned off. So there's various things that I've got to do out here. People think it's a piece of piss being a brickies labourer, but there's some depth into it as well, basically. So that would take us on to about 10 to 1. There's various bits of jobs we've got to get done to that. Then our next break is 10 to 1. So that's our lunch. Same thing, come up, wash our hands, do all that kind of stuff. What I would tend to have for lunch would be, I've had a quiche today. We've got good facilities, as I said. Generally it's pieces and cheese or pieces of ham, the same boring old stuff you get in a building site. So that takes us, again, the banter in the canteen, superb, good bunch of lads I'm working with. That finishes, stop lunch for 1:30, back onto the job, same old stuff. I may or may not get my materials in time, get the forklift driver, top bloke, but sometimes a bit of an arse, do you know what I mean? But generally we got on really well here. It's a good squad we've got down here, great company, great bunch of lads. So where am I now? I'm taking you on to about, so we're finishing 4:30. 20 past 4 we get down, get changed out the drying hut, stand in a queue, we've got to clock out, punch in my number. We've all got our own special wee code, punch in, and then it's a finger thingy, and then we get into the car. The travel back is worse because we tend to hit the roundabouts and traffic, so it's another long journey back home. Back up to the Mallockshug, do a wee car share. He's back into his car because he's called Johnny Wish. His name's Johnny Waddle, but he lives in Wishaw, that's why he's called Johnny Wishy. So then I drive down as if I'm heading towards East Kilbride, but I'm in Tory Glen, but I pick my wife up. She works in a pharmacy in Castlemilk, so I tend to wait there for about 5 minutes, pick up my wife at 5:30. I think, what we're going to have for dinner tonight? Don't know, it's all this, would you fancy? I don't know, would you fancy? All that kind of stuff, and that's just a general routine every single day. So we decide what we're going to have. We have to go to Asda to pick up what we're going to have for dinner. Back home, my wife collapses on the settee, gets her phone out. She's into this Facebook, this devil's diary I call it. Okay, so then while she's lounging there, Joe Blogs is in the kitchen making dinner. So we tend to sort of eat for about 7 o'clock because that's when my wife sits and watches Emmerdale. She loves that programme, so it's Emmerdale, and then dishes are getting done after we've eaten. We tend to watch more TV. I tend to get tired early because I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning, as I say, and I'll go upstairs, have a shower or a bath. I like to read. I'm reading a book presently. It's a Lee Child, it's a Jack Reacher book. I'm into Jack Reacher, so that's fine. But come 10 o'clock, eyelids are getting heavy, but the wife's downstairs. I can hear the TV going on downstairs, which is a bit annoying. And then she'll come up, put the light on, blah blah blah, and I think this is how it is. This is my routine. My wife has no concern whatsoever about my wee welfare because I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And incidentally, when I'm doing my work at 7:20, come on 7:30, I've got to phone to wake her up for her work, and I do that every day. I've done that for the past 12 years without fail, phone my wife to get her up for her work. People think it's a wee bit mental, but that's just how it is. So then come 10 o'clock, as I said, my wife will come up, or maybe a bit later, and I'm tired. It's exhausting. Out in the elements, as I said, down in the Ayrshire, the fresh air, it's fantastic conditions to work in, but it's also very tiring.
Yeah, I'm a Hollywood star in the making, man. Yeah, you don't laugh, you get in it,
Exactly.
guys, in it.
Exactly.
That's a difficult question. Generally, I wouldn't say I'm unhappy. I'm happy when I'm able to help clients out of a difficult situation, and I'm happy when I'm on holiday and when I'm with my family.
No, I'm not happy because I'm sitting here without my daughter and my family. That's my triangle. That's what's kept me going since I became clean in 2010 with my missus being pregnant. I became clean, and then after me being attacked and nearly murdered, I relapsed, and relapse sets you back years. So I had to get back through it all again, but I still had my daughter all the time. And now, I might not have my daughter, but I have got her. But she's with family, voluntarily with family. So, that's all I can say to that one.
Yeah, I'm absolutely happy in my life. Got great job, great family, and absolutely loving life just now.
Yes.
I am very happy.
I would say I was moderately happy. I find my work quite stressful. I find the day-to-day managing of life quite stressful. and I have a bit of a kind of short temper and a short fuse and things like that in work, because I'm also a bit fraught, so I'm trying to kind of work on that. But I spend so much of my time being chemically joyful for children, sort of wow, and anarchic and singing kettle and all this sort of thing. So when that stops, there's a sort of slump, and that can be quite difficult. So I would say I was moderately happy, yes.
I'm very happy. Very happy.
Yes, I'm very happy.
Most of the time. Most of the time. That's all I want to say.
I'd say like at the moment I'm like okay happy, but not the happiest that I could be. But I'm satisfied, I would say. I'm satisfied, yeah.
Yes.
I am very happy, Sean, yes. I'm happy in my life. I'm happy that I've got a wee job that I can go to and earn a wee bit of money to do the things that I would like to do. Thomas is retired now, so I know that he's quite content, because I think for a while there his job was getting him down, and I could sense that. Danielle is now married, so she's got her own home, her and Sean, and the wedding, I couldn't have asked for the wedding to have went any better. It was absolutely fabulous. Everybody had a fantastic day, and I think as a parent, leading up to it, you worry about this, that and the next thing, and will this happen, will that happen, but everything went to plan, and I couldn't have asked for more. So yes, I am happy, and I suppose the next thing now will be grandchildren if we're blessed.
I am happy because I've got a job, I work, I've bought my own car, I do things that I want to do, so I'm free and I get money, so I'm happy yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, extremely happy.
Oh, I'm very happy with my life. I've got a lovely fiancée and a good family, and I'm happy with my current job and stuff, so yeah, I'd say I'm very happy with my life.
Very happy, current situation. I make sure to keep myself happy. Like I love meeting people, I love talking to people and stuff like that. I make sure I surround myself with a lot of people that I'm quite close to, so that really keeps me happy. There's never really, like obviously you do get sad at some points, but there's nothing really. I'm quite good at making sure I keep myself happy and surrounding myself in good people and good things just to keep me happy, really.
Yes, yes.
Oh yes, I'm always happy, yeah, quite happy. Because it's, I hate to say I'm a creature of habit, and the job I've got, it's most things, it's things that happen every day, so I'm quite happy with the things that happen in the habit I've got now.
I am happy, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I'm happy. I really do enjoy my job, and you get to meet lots of people, lots of interesting patients, and also lots of people that you work with for, from all walks of life, and you get on really well with them. You make some good friends. So yeah, I would say I'm quite happy.
Happy in general. Yeah, I'm a happy guy. Yeah. My wife and I, we sold both the properties, and in September there, we bought a new property. We moved in, so it's now we're our home. Yeah. So we've got a beautiful back garden. The weather this year has been absolutely fantastic. So I'm happy. I love my work. As daft as it sounds, Ricky's labour, but I can't beat it. I'm a happy person in general. Yeah.